Hey guys, Curdhos here. Welcome to the end of week 2 of the Iron Will Reboot, the Persevere phase. Last week we talked about the SPSI formula, the struggle, persevere, succeed, and inspire. First week was about the struggle, taking on the problem, seeing what it is we want to do. We've joined a weight loss program, a transformation program. That is the struggle. In the first week, we started mastering on our food and started working on the daily non-negotiables. As we did that, we had a good motivated first week. The numbers were good. If you look at your numbers, you'll see sometimes your best drop is your first week because you're highly motivated and you're doing everything and you're excited. We're finishing week 2, and this is where we talk about perseverance, because at the end of week 2, we're noticing now it's about a little bit more work, a little bit more consistency, about dealing with the struggles and making the changes that we have to do. So this is the point where we talk about persevering. We know what we have to do. We have a plan. Motivation might wane a little bit, as it often does after we first start something. So we want to focus in on those daily non-negotiables, which is food mastery, exercise, mindset, and personal presentation. Those 4 pillars that we talked about last week are the things that we check those off every day. They set us up to succeed throughout the day, whether we're having a great day or a bad day. And this is where we need to persevere. This is where we need to hold on to these principles and make sure that we take care of these 4 daily non-negotiables every day. Persevering is knowing what you have to do, being ready to do the work you have to do, even when you're not as excited and inspired as you were the first week. That's why the formula works that way. Again, at this point, I want you to have written down what your weigh-in is at the end of this week. Look at the differences, and then see how much you've changed, what's going on. You've been weighing in daily, keeping yourself accountable, which is fantastic. But at the end of every week, we want to see, what have I done overall for the week? And that's really important. It's really important that we sit there and we see just how well we did. And now we take a minute or so to reflect on it. What we want to do is sit there and look at, what kind of challenges did we face this week? Were there different challenges week 2? Were there new challenges? Were they the same challenges? How do we do with them? How do we handle them? So now we're kind of scoring our performance. The scale obviously is the big score, but we're also looking at, how do we do on a day-to-day basis? What were some of the issues? Did you, stay on top of food prep? Did you stay on top of the daily non-negotiables? Did you skip a couple of things? Did you say, oh, I'm doing pretty good. I had a great first week, so I have a little bit more room. I can throw a cheat meal in all of a sudden, and, on a Friday or Saturday. And guess what? Today's weigh-in? No, you can't, right? So maybe we're learning a valuable lesson there. So at the end of the day, what we want to do is just take a minute and reflect. What went well, what didn't go so well. And not just sit there and say, well, I had trouble with this. Why did you have trouble with this? What was the issue? Again, we're going to sit there, and if I had 5 or 6 or 10 people all chime in right now and tell me what their challenges were, we're going to see some main themes. We're going to see some similarities. We're going to see people saying stuff, hectic, too busy, no time. Food meal prep wasn't done. Workouts weren't getting done. Well, if you're suffering through that, if you're dealing with that, well, part of the issue is you haven't sat and worked on your daily non-negotiables. You have to carve out the time. If you stay on top of your food prep twice a week and then your meal prep every night before going to bed, it takes less time than normal food making does throughout the week. It's less stressful. It's more organized. That discipline creates more freedom. We've talked about it before, right? So that might be an area where you're struggling. If it is, go back and do those things that you need to do. Hectic. Well, we need to make space and time. We talked about putting ourselves first. We use the example of the airplane when it gets in trouble and drops the oxygen mask. Put your mask on first so that A, you're not a burden to those around you, but B, you're actually able to help others around you that are struggling themselves. Again, we have to carve out time. There's 24 hours in every day. 1 hour is 4% of that total time. There is room. I guarantee it. If you truly feel that you don't have the time, I want you to start doing an hourly audit. Get a journal, and every hour I want you to write down 1 o'clock, this is what I did. 2 o'clock, this is what I did. 3 o'clock, this is what I did. Start from the morning all the way you go to bed. Be honest. I swear you are going to find hours of space and time, hours of it. You think you're hectic. You may be because you're running all over the place. You may be because you're not staying focused and disciplined and doing some of the things that need to get done. So, oh wow, 3 episodes later of Vikings, I realize I'm behind and I don't have time to do certain things. Well, 1 episode of Vikings, then get your stuff done, right? Get those daily non-negotiables done as soon as possible in the day. It frees up the rest of your day. If you've already done your food prep and your meal prep, if you've already done your exercise, if you've already done your journaling and your mindset, and you did good presentation for this, a personal presentation for the day is yours. And in fact, doing those 4 things early on, as we talked about, sets the day up for success, creates that momentum. you get a lot more done in a positive manner. You're in the right frame of mind. You have energy, you have focus, you have direction. And when we have direction, we move from point A to point B more effortlessly, more efficiently, right? That's really what we're doing. One of the things I remember having this conversation with one of our attendees a while back, what they started to struggle with is they found they had too much time left over the day. Getting up early, getting things done, getting better organized. They found they had hours. They didn't know what to do with themselves. They were struggling with the habit of keeping themselves busy. So now all of a sudden, when they started to create these great personal rituals and these daily activities that were moving them in the right direction, losing weight, feeling good, more energy, more, more focus, just feeling better. One of the things they didn't realize it would be an issue is that they started to struggle with, but I've got extra hours, the hours I used to spend in front of the TV, the hours I used to take a nap, the hours I used to do all this. Well, now they're free again. What do I do with them? They were lost. That's not an uncommon thing to have happen. So all of a sudden we can start maybe looking at what's next that we can do. Maybe we go for another walk. Maybe we tackle, that room in the house you want to clean up. Maybe we sit down and have a conversation with our family and see what they're up to, because we've created time and space for it. Maybe it's time to start family dinners again. Maybe it's time to organize a regular outing, because now you have time, right? So again, really interesting how that one person struggled with that positive aspect. They didn't know what to do. And sometimes, well, here's the reality. Nature abhors a vacuum. So if there's time and space left over with nothing purposeful to do it, we're going to fill it with bullshit. We're going to fill it with something. We're going to, keep ourselves amused. We don't want to be bored or whatever, right? So what we need to do is, once we create that time and space, we need to be constructive. So we need a plan. The 4 daily non-negotiables are just that. A couple of things we want to talk about too is what went really well. Take a minute. Man, I feel good. I feel good mentally because for the first time in a long time or ever, I feel I'm in control of my day. I feel that I'm getting things done, right? I feel like I'm moving in the right direction. I feel that I have a say in what happens. It's fantastic. Some people it happens right away. Some people it happens week 2, week 3. We're all different. We're all at different stages. The other thing we talked about last week was looking at what our whys were. Why were we doing this? We talked about part of your metaphysical challenge and the physical challenges for the week, but the metaphysical, and this is what we started the very first time we talked on this program, and we looked at it, is why are we here? Why are we on this planet and this earth? That's a bigger why, and that's a good why to look at. But why are we in this program? Why is it time for us to finally make that transformation? Why is it time for us to finally do the things we need to do to live the life we really want to do? So at this point, right, hopefully you've done some work on that and you've gotten a little bit deeper and you've had some time to think with inside and listen to yourself and have that conversation. Scary at times, awkward at times, lonely at times. Sometimes we don't like seeing we don't like seeing what we've been up to. We don't like seeing the wasted time, the sadness, the anger, the frustration that's in there, right? But we need to look at it. So we need to really look back at that why. So if you haven't done that why, you need to go back and do it, because as I said before, the bigger that why, the more powerful that why is, the more likely you are to succeed. The more likely you are to go through the things you need to persevere through, the tough parts, the boring parts, the challenging parts, the man, I'm hungry, man, I'm tired parts. When we have a large why, we're able to push through that. Take a very powerful why, add that to the 4 daily non-negotiables. It's impossible not to succeed. But we have to hold those we have to hold ourselves accountable to those. We have to keep those in front of us. We have to remind ourselves of those daily. We have to write them down. I don't care if you have to put it on Post-it notes and stick it on your fridge and on your computer and on your mirror, in your car, wherever. Keep reminding yourself the 4 daily non-negotiables and your why, right? You see that in movies all the time when the champion, has been defeated. Rocky, he lost and he got beat and stuff, and now he's kind of doing the comeback, and he's got a picture of his opponent in the mirror and stuff, and he sees it every day, and he's grinding every day, and he's working out every day. He's there to remind himself why he's doing this. He's there to remind himself why he's putting himself through this, because these changes are not easy. They're simple, but they're not easy. They're uncomfortable. Our body always wants to stay in a point of comfort as much as possible. It doesn't like discomfort. It doesn't like change. It wants to be happy all the time. It's a terrible thing that our body does to us, because we're always going to settle and regress and settle and regress. And next thing you know, we've gained 100 pounds. Next thing you know, we've lost relationships. Next thing we know, we've lost ground in our career and our businesses and our health, because we were just consumed by feeling good all the time. We don't want that anymore. We want delayed gratification. We want to suffer a little bit now. We want to pay for our sins. I just used that term again today. We were training legs, and I was working out with someone, and they're saying, man, it's tough. And it was just a 25-minute leg blitz, right? But they just finished telling me about the weekend and how, they went off track a little bit. And I just looked at them. I said, good, we're here to pay for your sins. Pay for the sins of the weekend, right? Grind, throw another set in there, beat it down, right? We're not going to be able to burn off all those extra calories they put in, but what we are going to do is put ourselves back on track to where we need to be, to put ourselves in the laneway of hard work and focus where we want to spend our time, right? We want to make our mind, happy to be there, right? Happy to take that beating because we know it's for the greater good, the why. That's why we're doing this overall. We need to understand that we're suffering now because we're making changes. We're suffering now because we're facing feelings and thoughts we haven't thought about or felt, or we avoided for so long because we didn't like the answers. We didn't like looking in the mirror below the chin because we didn't like what we saw because we could see what we have done to ourselves. And I kid you not, we have done this to ourselves. You can sit there and blame circumstance, the world, life, your family, your friends, your children, your husband, your wife. You can blame all you want outwardly, but inwardly we're to blame because whatever those external factors were, we always made the final decision as to how we were going to react. Were we going to step into it? Were we going to deal with it? Were we going to try to fix it? Or do we turn around and medicate ourselves with booze, with drugs, alcohol, food, sex, Netflix? We made that decision to how we were going to deal with it. We put ourselves in this less than optimal situation. The moment you start accepting that you did that, the moment you sit there and internalize the fact that, you know what, I did this, but I swear, once you start to get to that point that you start to be honest and accept the fact that you did this to yourself, then you quickly start to realize you can get yourself out of it. In fact, only you can. So again, that why has to be powerful. Maybe 2 weeks in now, because you're gaining some ground and you're getting some traction and you're feeling better about yourself, you revisit that why. Maybe that why wasn't as big as it needed to be. You were just kind of, that sounds powerful and that's okay, but deep down, well, that's not really what I want to do, but I'm too afraid to face the real why. I don't feel confident enough. I don't feel strong enough. I don't feel like I'm worth it. Well, after a couple of weeks of success and feeling better and moving better, we start to think differently about ourselves. Go back and visit that. Not uncommon for people through these first 28 days to start to go back and revisit and readdress their whys and then make their whys even bigger, even deeper. And when they do that, it's like they drop into another gear again and they're able to take off to a higher level, right? Because we get good at doing good things. We start to develop good habits. And like anything else, what we practice the most, we improve upon, we get better at, we learn that skill, we start to master that skill. So go back and redo it. Go back and get excited again. Go back and get motivated, right? You didn't get your workout today. You didn't do your 25 squats a week last week like we talked about. But you know what? When this call is done, do those squats. Better yet, if you're watching this and you didn't do it, do the squats while you watch this video. Do 5 at a time, 10 at a time. Keep the video on. You can do it, right? Get them done. Start to achieve, start to do the things that need to get done. Start to build that discipline. Start to create that iron will. That's what this is all about. So look at the results you had for the week. What went well? What didn't go well? Spend time on each. This went well because of this, and why did it go well? Well, because I did this, this, and this. Spend some time there. Appreciate that. Go deeper with it. This is where I struggled. Well, why did I struggle? And when I struggled with it, what did it cause? Did it cause me to derail? Did it make things harder than they need to be? Right? Spend some time there. That's what the journal's about. People ask often, you know what to write in your journal? I'm giving you exactly what to do with the journal now. Spend some time, crack it open, make these notes. Stop the video. Somebody came to you, an aha moment, stop the video, write it down, spend some time, turn the video back on, right? If you're inspired, jump on that. I keep a notebook beside my bed because I often wake up in the middle of the night and I have an idea or a thought and I write it down, right? I won't remember it in the morning. And I mean, many mornings I woke up, I'm like, oh man, what was it I thought about last night? That was gold. I can't remember it. Write it down, right? So do the same thing. If something hits you, something strikes you right now while you're watching this video or any other videos we do, stop the video, write it down, spend some time around it, circle it, underline it, point an arrow to it. Because there's a reason why that popped into your head, because you're putting yourself and your mindset in a position to start to see and react and deal with things that you weren't in a position to do. You're becoming more self-aware. Your subconscious is starting to come through more because you're giving it time and space. You're making yourself better, tougher, more efficient. So you're able to do that, right? This is what persevering is all about. This is what it is. What's working, what's not. What's working, do more of it. What's not working, double down on it. At the end of the day, how we do this, how we go back and work on things is just as important as the first time we do it as well. Because no one bats 1,000 out of the gate. I say it all the time. If we were masters of all this, we'd all have our shirts off right now because we'd have abs, right? We're not there yet. Some of us are at the very beginning of this journey. Some of us are halfway. Some of us are 3/4 along the way. I plan on being 3/4 along the way to the journey forever because the needle keeps moving at the end, because I keep getting better. More opportunities open up. The whys get deeper. The opportunities, the realisms, the realizations of what I can truly do start to increase, right? So I keep moving that final goalpost a little bit further. But the 3/4 way mark is phenomenal. Lots of weight change, lots of physique changes, a lot of mental changes, opportunities, purpose, all those things are in high gear now because I'm 3/4 of the way through. That's where I want you guys to be. But you get there by doing this program and this system. Week 1, the struggle. What's the problem? Week 2, persevering. What is it I have to work on? Where am I running into issues? And keep pushing through it. Go back to the why, right? If I didn't do some of the daily things I was supposed to do, then double down this week on it. This week, we're going to have another metaphysical challenge. This week, we're going to have another physical challenge. Great. But if you didn't get those done the week before, get them done this week as well, right? Double down on it. Because you can. You can physically, you can mentally. In fact, once the mind starts to turn into this, the mind will take the body to places the body never thought it could go on its own. The mind is the most powerful thing. We start with the physical and the nutrition part to get ourselves into a situation where we can let that mind start to open up. But it is truly the most powerful thing. If you feel you can do something and you feel you can't do something, you are absolutely right in both instances. That's what it is. It's about our personal headspace, how we talk to ourselves. You might have noticed in the first week you had a huge drop in weight. As you dialed it all in, it was a big change. Second week, maybe not so much. If you're doing everything what you're supposed to and you're counting and weighing and measuring and the scale's still moving down, that's good. That happens. Big week followed by a less than big week. Maybe you've had 2 big weeks in a row, right? Maybe you had a small week and then a big week because second week you dialed it in better, right? Look at that. Spend some time figuring out what's going on with that. But there's going to be a point where the weeks still move down, but maybe not as aggressive, not as much. That's okay as long as you're moving down. If you had a week where you didn't move down or a week where you moved up, calories are off. Somebody's off with the 4 daily non-negotiables. The weighing and the measuring the meals are off. Sit back down, look at that, right? Message if you're not quite sure how to do something. Read your notes, right? Go back to that. Weight loss happens in the calorie deficit. If you're not losing weight, you're not in a calorie deficit. That means you're eating as much or more calories in a day that you need. That's why you're not losing weight. If you're eating less calories than you need throughout the day to burn off with all your activity and staying alive, your basic metabolic rate and all that hoo-ha, right? If you're eating less than that, you will lose weight. The math is simple, right? Go back and readdress that. Are you weighing? Are you measuring? Are you doing the details? The devil's in the details. If you're kind of eyeballing, oh, that looks like a cup of rice. Oh, that looks like 4 ounces of chicken. Guarantee you it's not, right? Use the tools. We told you to get a scale. We told you how to measure stuff for a reason, right? You're far too far away from the point where you can eyeball it properly, right? That's a long time coming. And you know what? After a while, once you really master it, why skip the weighing and the measuring? It's so simple. It's so easy. It's just an accurate step, right? Keep it simple. Don't change things. Don't try to make things better or easier, right? Do what works. That's what we talk about in the second week. If it's been a good week and you're on track and things are going and you lost 4 to 8 pounds the first week and second week you lost 2 to 3 pounds, that's still really good. You might not feel good about it. That's where you have to persevere and understand it's that, listen, you're still making progress. Have faith in what you're doing. Stay focused. Don't be consistent. Don't use this as an excuse to say, oh, what the hell? It's not working. Oh, it's way too much work, right? Don't let those things get into your head. Don't let those thoughts, because you will try to convince yourself. You will try to talk yourself out of this program when things get tough. That's what our body does, right? That's why we have to persevere through this. At the end of the day, we talk about setting goals. We talk about wanting to be better, and we're going to aspire. We're going to sit there and I go, I want this to be like this. I want this. These are my goals. These are my ambitions. And we're going to try to rise to those. But the problem is you're going to try to rise to those things, but you will always settle to the level of your daily rituals, right? That's it. So if your rituals and standards aren't higher, right, you're not going to keep improving. Your goals and ambitions may be here, but if your rituals and standards are here, this is where you're going to stay. So to get here, you need to raise those rituals. You need to raise those standards. You need to do things differently than you've been doing them so that you make changes, right? What got you here isn't going to get you there. So we have to be more focused, more consistent, right? There's always areas to improve. If you're doing everything well and the weight loss is happening and you're happy with it, then your job is to stay the course. Be just as focused going into week 3 as you were in week 2 and week 1, right? Because that might be your challenge. You know, don't lose focus, right? Don't drift, don't assume, don't get cocky, right? That kind of stuff, right? Don't think, oh, I got this, because I'll tell you what, the scale will come around at the end of the weekend. You ain't got it, right? You will still slide back to your old habits, because these new habits will take time to cement and to become the new standards and rituals at a higher level to make your change and stuff, right? You know, when you want to make a lot of changes, you have to do it in steps, but then you have to hold yourself to those steps all the time. That's really the hard part about this program. The hard part is about doing the steps the days you want to or not, doing the daily non-negotiables when you're motivated or not, doing the daily make this your job. Do it as if your life depends on it, because the quality of your life does depend on it. It's that simple, right, guys? We know what we have to do. We've finished the first week. We've finished our second week. Let's look back. Let's make adjustments, and let's keep pushing forward. It's that simple. Next phase I want us to get into, guys, is we're going to review a little bit of what our goals for the month and the powerful why that we had last week's homework. Again, we're just going to spend some time. I'm going to talk about it. Pause the video at any point and look at your work. If you didn't do some of this work, pause the video now and do it. You're already sitting here. You've already carved out this time. Make the best of it. Start to create this habit. You know, this is the time to do it. You have to do it. Go back to last week. What is your why? Look at your why. Did you do it? Great. Read it to yourself again. Write it out again. Is that still your why? Is that still powerful enough now that you've got a couple of weeks under your belt? Does it need to be adjusted? Do you need to be reminded of it because you didn't remind yourself of it on a daily basis, and that affected how you did things? Why is it important to achieve this? Why is this why so important? What will change in your life? What will your life be like if your goal is to lose that 75 pounds, right? Notice I didn't say 5 pounds or 10 pounds. That's not a big enough why. That's not going to excite you. That's not going to motivate you. That's not going to make you do the hard stuff when there's hard stuff to do, because 5 pounds, I can do that in a week. If you're right, you can. So it's got to be big. But if your why is, I want to lose 75 pounds so I can finally go on that dream trip and vacation I've always wanted to go, that I've been saving up for, but I've been too tired and broken and embarrassed to take the trip and go there looking and feeling the way I feel, that's why I haven't done it yet. And I haven't had a chance to experience that and have that enriched aspect of my life given to me. That's a hell of a why. That's a big why. In fact, if your why is one sentence long, it's nowhere near as powerful as a paragraph. It's nowhere near as powerful as 2 paragraphs, right? Make that why that big. So go back and look at it. Go back and sit there and go, what happens if I do this? If I pull this off, what could be my life like? What could my life be like? What could my world be like? Right? Spend some time here. You know, what is your weight loss goal for the 28 days? Was it originally 15 pounds and now you already nailed it? So you got 2 more weeks left. Well, maybe you definitely have to review that. Definitely revise that. Maybe it was 14 pounds and you've lost 6 after 2 weeks, but you feel that you need to push yourself, so you want to go heavier. Great. Or maybe you're halfway there and you've picked 15 pounds and you're happy with that. Spend some time. Think about that. Check where you're at. Where's my progress? Where am I at? I'm right on progress. Great. All the things I've been doing is working. Keep doing it. Keep moving forward. And then again, review. What's your biggest hurdle in weight loss? What's your big, you know, there's hurdles in weight loss that we'll always face. There's hurdles in weight loss we may be facing now because this is a different program. Hurdles in this weight loss program because you're different this time, because you're older, you're more determined, you're more frustrated. Who knows? But what's the hurdle? What's the big thing? What's really getting in your way? And I'll tell you, most time it's us getting in our own way, right? Us not doing the things that have to get done, us not believing in it, us not holding ourselves at a higher standard and higher levels of rituals, daily rituals to do it. It's us. Spend some time there, look at it. What's the main thing I want to change in my life over the next 28 days? What's the one thing I want to change? It can be big. I want to be happier. Okay. I want to be more positive. Okay, well, that's good. What does that mean? What does that look like? Maybe it's over 28 days. I want to work out every day. Well, how you been doing? Are you on target? Great. If not, okay, double down next week, catch up. If you missed 4 or 5 workouts over the last 2 weeks, do a couple of double workouts next week coming up, catch up, right? Set yourself that next level goal. It's just another little layer. what can I do this week to start to address the issues that I've been running into? So we've sat back and we looked at what's stopping me, what's my hurdles, what's been getting in my way, what's the biggest frustration, right? Hopefully you stopped this video 4 or 5 times already, made some notes. Now I want you to sit back and going, okay, what's the one thing I can do to address it? Damn it, I just need to get up half an hour earlier. All right, do that. No, you know what? I just need to make sure I hit the groceries Wednesdays and Sundays instead of just Sundays. Okay, do that. But what's the one thing, that one immediate action you can take? And I mean immediate, like this video ends and the store's still open, go get the food if you haven't gotten it already, right? It's not bedtime yet and you haven't done your exercises for last week and this week. At the end of this video, do them. What's the one thing you can do right now? And I mean right now. Take immediate action because it's so powerful. It changes how we think. It changes the chemicals in our body. It changes the chemicals in our brain, right? We immediately start to achieve and succeed when we take action right away. Powerful. Foreign, but powerful. Where do we want to see things in 28 days? This is what we talked about last week. Where do we want to see things in 28 days? You know, in 28 days, I want to be in a very good groove with this. I want to have lost the initial weight loss I want to lose in this first 28 days. And I want to look at what my new why is or refurbish my why. And I want to do I want to figure out what I do over the next 28 days to keep going, right? This is your next thing. What is it you want to be? What do you want to get done in the next 20 days? What do you want to be different about you, right? What are some of the things you can add now? We could change 100 things week 1. Overwhelming and hard to control, right? But every week, if you notice, week 1, we added certain things. We made changes to food. Week 2, we're adding a little bit more. Week 3, we're adding a little more. We're adding layers. We're evolving. As we get some momentum going, we're adding a little bit more because we can handle a little bit more, because we're motivated, we're achieving, we're more capable, and we need to keep pushing, right? So what's something you can add in this 28 days that isn't overwhelming, that fits in what you're doing? Maybe it's go for a walk twice a week with your significant other, so you spend more time together in a positive manner, right? As well as get your exercise in, right? Think about that. What's something you could add to this 28 days to keep making it more powerful and effective? Keep building on it. We're at a point now too where we have the next level of workouts coming in. We had the squats in the first week. We are adding a few different things overall. So at this point, same thing. Look at your exercises. Have you been hitting the exercises? Do you need to modify some of the exercises? Are you excited? Now you want to join the gym? Are you going to the gym more often? These are all wonderful things. Once you spend some time and look at your workouts, right? We want you to get more fit. The workouts aren't going to help you burn extra calories, and the point that you're going to make up for poor calorie choices and food choices and not disciplined on your food mastery. That's not what exercise is going to do. 45 minutes or 2 hours in the treadmill isn't going to compensate for that extra Mars bar you had. It's just not. But what it is going to do is make you fitter. It's going to make you stronger. It's another activity throughout the day that keeps you moving forward in a positive manner, that fills some of those voids, because you're getting better organized with your food and with your organization and your presentation things. You have more time available to you. Now you're focusing on what can I do that's more constructive, as opposed to just wasting time, filling time, doing things that do nothing for us. All of a sudden now, you know what? I've got some time. I want to get some more workouts in. So we look at that, we pursue that. Do we keep adding the workouts we're doing now? Do we pursue something else? Do we join a gym? Do we get a coach or trainer? If it's time for that, have that conversation. This is the time to look at that, right? The physical fitness is here to make you stronger, fitter, and relieve stress. Burn a little bit of calories, but it's not there for the calories. You're not going to out-train a poor diet. So if that's what you've been thinking, just stop. It's not going to work, right? But if it's about getting fitter and healthier and stronger, change of environment, you're going to the gym, you're going to different things, you're working out with a friend or a buddy, right? That social aspect of it. These are all very positive, wonderful things that come from working out. Is it just going to a different part of the house and grinding out a 30-minute workout just to burn some sweat, burn some calories, sweat it up, get a little pump, a little burn in the muscles, get some stress out, breathe? That's why I want the workouts. I want those things, because those things are going to add to everything else we're doing. Those things are going to help clear the mind. They're going to get rid of stress. They're going to make you feel better. They're going to give you more energy, more strength, which we just add on to what we're doing. It just makes us feel better, makes the daily non-negotiables even more effective and simpler and more consistent, right? Nothing feels better than a great workout. Breathing hard, sweaty, muscles are pumped a bit. It's a wonderful feeling. That burn in the muscles, it's a wonderful feeling. You feel alive. That's what the bodies are meant to do. We are meant to be racehorses, right? We need to get out there. We need to move. That's what the workouts are for. That's a new horizon I want you to either get back to or to improve upon. So again, where are you at with your workouts based on what we're giving you? Is it too much? Is it too little? Is it just right? Are you doing it? At the end of the day, in your journal, answer these questions. Spend a few minutes, write a few lines, and then review those. Right? That's the one thing I will say, that the power of the live version of this is that we can actually talk in the group, whoever's in the group, we can actually go back and forth for 5 or 10 minutes in these sections and answer some specific questions. You know, Lewis and I are creating an FAQ and you know, answering the most common questions that we run into, but that's why the live version of this has a lot of more depth and power to it, because we can really interact at a higher level. But again, following this and doing these steps, working in your journal, doing it, will do the same for you. We'll get you there. We'll get you to the point that you're doing this more efficiently, right? And you can do it on your own if you're not quite ready to join a group. However, the live version of this is even more powerful, right? So this is why we have kind of the content split up this way, is because there's a point where we would stop and I would say, hey guys, who wants to go? Tell, you know, I'll pick someone. You tell me your challenge for the week. All right, good. You tell me your, you know, the win for the week. Okay, good. And we move around, and then we see some themes, some commonalities that we've talked about already. And then you start to realize that, hey, you know, that guy's going through the same thing. So, you know, I'm not a misfit. That's just me that feels this way. That's a normal thing. All right, so I don't feel so weird about it. I can do it. Or, man, she's got it much worse than I do, and she lost, you know, 6 pounds last week, and I only lost 2. Come on, right? There's a lot to be said for that as well. Even though this is our own journey, when we do it together, we have more power. We're part of a community and stuff. The next phase I want to go into is just talk about the weekly challenges coming up for this week. We're moving into week 3. We're moving into success. We're going to start talking about wins. We're going to start talking about, you know, things moving in the right direction and what that looks like and what that feels like. So get ready for that. But again, make sure week 1's happening. Make sure your, you know, your food and prep is done. Make sure your daily non-negotiables are happening. Persevere through this, right? Week 3 coming up next week, we're talking about success, the wins, starting to pile up. We're starting to put more wins in the win column, right? A lot of power to that. So that's what the exciting part is. So the challenge that we're doing this week is going to build into that. The physical challenge, like I said last week, was squats. This week we're adding 25 jumping jacks. If we're throwing any other daily workouts at you, I want you to make sure you get them done as well. But 25 daily jumping jacks, get the cardio up and stuff. So here's a great way to do it. If at the beginning of your little workout, you do 25 jumping jacks, catch your breath, and you go into your 25 bodyweight squats, that's a great little workout. In fact, what a lot of people do when they do this program is they take the exercises from week 1, they carry them over to week 2. So now they've got 2 exercises in week 2. Week 3, they carry over the next exercise. Now they have 3 exercises. So by the end of the 28 days, they got 4 exercises they do. So they're spending a good 15, 18 minutes working out, getting a good sweat, getting a metabolic shift upwards, feeling good, starting to see progress, right? Getting stronger and fitter. So you can take this week as, hey, I'm dropping the squats and just doing jumping jacks, or you can take this week, which I really would prefer you guys to do, to add the jumping jacks to your 25 squats. Hit these up every day, part of your daily non-negotiables. Exercise, check it off after you've squatted and done your jumping jacks. Write that down in your journal. The metaphysical. This is one of my favorite mindset visualization exercises that we can do. It is super powerful. It is one that I suggest you repeat on a quarterly basis. I like to repeat it often. I often like to repeat it when I'm feeling that I'm not having the best successes, when I'm not really moving forward, when I feel I need a pick-me-up. I like to review this exercise. And what it's called is our ultimate day. What we're doing is we break it up into 3 sections. And the first section is your morning. From the moment you wake up till noon, your ultimate day. When I say ultimate day, I mean your life is where you want it to be, your job is where you want it to be, your business is where you want it to be, your relationships are where you want it to be, your physical health, your mental health, your family, everything is where you want it to be. Like it is picture perfect. I want you now to look at what would that day look like. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, there's no way I can't. I just got divorced, and you know, I got a new job, and I'm 100 pounds overweight. I can't see that. Agreed. You can't see it. So that's why we're doing this exercise, to start visualizing it, to start learning a little bit more about ourselves, to give us a target to move forward, right? At the end of the day, we need to have direction. So your ultimate day isn't the Wednesday on your vacation, because that's not an ultimate day. That's a great day on vacation. For me, when I look at the ultimate day, is How do I want my days to be as a whole? How do I want Tuesdays to be? I want to have great Tuesdays, right? And then great Mondays and great Wednesdays. So for me, the ultimate day is, what does my normal day look like as an ultimate day? As doing the things I want to do, living a life of purpose, fulfillment, having the energy, having the body I want, having the energy I want, having the mindset I want, doing the things I want to do, the career I want to have, right? So many of us are stuck doing things we don't like doing because it's a job, it pays the bills, we fell into it, we're too lazy, we're too afraid to do what we really want to do. This is what this exercise is all about, is what does that look like? Are we where we're supposed to be? And I say where we're supposed to be, not because I think you should be somewhere, but because deep down in your heart, you know where you want to be, where you want to be doing for a living. You've always wanted to own a pottery store. I don't know why you'd want to own one. That's not for me to say. But if that melts your butter, and that's what you really want to do, and you're happiest when you're taking a pottery class on Wednesday nights, and that's the happiest you are for 2 hours every week, that is a sign, is that's what you should be doing for your livelihood, whether you work at one, whether you own one, whether you teach it. I don't know what that's going to fall into, but look for those signs. So the ultimate day, the morning, that picture perfect day, think about it. You can plan the whole day if you want. Some people love doing that. Some people find it really hard to visualize that much happiness and fulfillment based on where they're at the moment, right? It just seems inconceivable. So I want you to try. I want you to picture that. I want you to start to visualize what that could be like. This is also another living and breathing thing that as you redo it, it's going to evolve because you're evolving. You're going to be less frightened to think about the things you really want to think about, right? That kind of stuff. So be ready for that. So what time? So here's how we break it down from the moment you wake up till lunchtime. So we break it down and we try to really involve the 5 senses. You know, what time do we wake up? Where do we wake up? In bed, great, right? It's better than on the floor. But in my home, in my hunting camp, in my villa in Spain, on the beach, because this is what I do in my life or whatever and stuff like that, or in a small little cottage that you've always wanted, you got away from the hustle and bustle of life, and you wake up to the birds singing, right? You wake up before the alarm because you don't need the alarm because you live such a fulfilled and energetic life. You can't wait to start the day. It seems pretty impossible sometimes, especially when we look at where we're at right now. But that happens, right? What do I hear? I hear the birds. What do I smell? Is there coffee going on downstairs? Because I love coffee, right? Is there fresh baked whatever it is going on down there? I don't know, right? This is for you. What do you hear? Is there music on the background? Do you hear the kids getting ready and laughing and joking? Is your husband and your wife in the bathroom busy getting ready for their day and they're singing along to the song or whistling or saying good morning to you and giving you a kiss on the cheek? Visualize this. What is it for you that would be ultimate? What time do you get up? What's the first thing you do? What are your morning activities? You eat first, you weigh in, you exercise, you journal. What are the things that you're going to, you see yourself doing that you want to be doing, right? If you work, where do you work, right? If you have a job or a business, what is it, right? Where do you go? What does it sound like? What does it feel like? Where are you at in your career? Where are you at in your business, right? What do you do at 9? What do you do at 10? What do you do at 11? Break it down. The more vivid you can get with this, the more you can really think about the sights and the sounds and the smells and the senses and the touches, the more real it becomes. There's study after study that comes out that says if you believe something strongly enough in your mind with enough conviction, your mind has trouble telling the difference between reality and fantasy. That's how powerful this visualization can be. And it becomes a roadmap. How do you spend the second part, the later part of your morning going into lunch? What does that look like? How do you wind into lunch? What are you achieving throughout the day? What's your workday like? Who are you talking to during the day, right? Where's your office? What are the colors there? Be as vivid as possible. Some of you are going to struggle hard with this because you have not thought about this. You haven't ever thought about it because you've been so just busy getting it done and paying the bills. And now you got a second car and 3 trips a year and you've painted yourself in a corner that you can't ever think about the fact that you'd really rather be a coffee barista in France, because you've always loved that area and want to be a part of it. And instead you're stuck working 2 jobs because you got all these bills that you have to pay that you created. Because you know what? You thought the second car would make you feel better. You thought the 3rd trip this year would make you feel better to compensate for the fact that you feel terrible. you don't like where you are in life. So what do? We try to spend our way into happiness. We try to collect things into happiness. We figure if I buy if I buy these new workout shoes, I'm gonna want to work out. It's not how it works, right? Because 30 seconds after your body, you're like, wah, wah, buyer's remorse. Yeah, another new pair of shoes goes in the corner, dusty with all the others and stuff. Really, what you should have done is take the older shoes, gone for a good 20-minute walk in an area that you love to walk in. What time of day do you work out? What's that workout look like? Visualize this, spend time here, make this powerful. Because when we do this, and the next week we're going to do the second part, we're going to do noon to 5, and then we're going to do supper time to bedtime. We're going to break it down. If you want to go ahead and do it now, do it all now. And we can come back to it, in the next couple of weeks. But you know what you're going to do? You're going to start to set yourself free. You're going to start to think. You're going to start to imagine. You're going to start to get excited. But what you're really doing is you're creating a roadmap. You're creating a destination. You have now a compass. We talked about the why, having a big why. This ultimate day can be your biggest why overall. I love this exercise. I do it often. I repeat it and I review it and stuff. Then I do a 1-year program. Where do I want to be in a year? Where do I want to be in 3 years? Where do I want to be in 5 years? These are powerful things. If you don't want to do it, it's because you're not on the right track. I don't care what anybody says. You're not ready for it because you can't get there and you don't want to face it. You don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear the rejection. I don't want to be reminded again that I'm failing at the things I want to do, right? Who wants that? Who wants to willingly walk into that? No one does unless they have a fucking plan to move forward on it. Unless they have a plan to deal with it. Then I'm like, all right, I got to take these 10 punches. And when I get to the 10th punch, I know things are going to be better. I'm like, let's go, tee it up, get it done. Because I know it's for a purpose, because it's a why that requires me to do this. This is what I want you to do. This is very powerful. I want you to write this down. I want you to review it. Be ready as if you were going to show and tell this next week when we review it. I want you to get excited by it. This too will be up for new renditions and refurbs and stuff as you become better, different, and evolve. You're going to see things differently. Some of these will become a reality. And you're like, wow, that's fantastic. I'm doing it. I'll tell you right now, right at the time of this video, I've opened up a personal training studio, a private gym. I've got a store on top of it that has all our supplements and our clothing. We have a clothing brand behind us. I print and do our own clothing. I do it for other companies and stuff, all set up in the one location. A year ago, I was coming out of the end of COVID and I was rebuilding things. And I sat down and said, you know what, my ultimate day needs to be revised. I looked at my ultimate day and I said, here's what I want to see happen. This is where my ultimate day would be. I get up at 5 in the morning. I head to the gym. I train clients from 6 a.m. till noon. At noon, I take a little break. Then I go upstairs. Upstairs where the store is, I work on the brand. I deal with clients, online orders, building our brand, making clothing, doing kinds of stuff like that, being creative, growing the business. At 5, between 4 and 5, I go downstairs and I work out for myself. The second workout of the day, AMs, I do my cardio. PMs, I do my bodybuilding, powerlifting workouts. And then I go home for the evening. And in the evening, I've got stuff I want to do. Either we're watching a hockey game, or we're going out to dinner, or we're going to the movie, or we're just hanging out. Because for the longest time, I worked 18, 19 hours a day for years, and my business went terribly, not better. And I visualized this, and I put all this together. I said, this is what I want to see. And I want to have a cool spot. I want it to look really sharp, and I want it to be something I love going to. I wrote this down line for line a year ago, less than a year ago. And here's what happened. End of December, we bought a commercial condo. By the end of January, we had opened up the small gym down below. By the end of February, the store was open. Now I live that ultimate day almost to a T. I get up almost every morning at 5. I head to the gym. I train great clients, getting great results. Then I hit my cardio in between. I usually have a gap in between clients. I hit my bike or I go for a walk. Then I have lunch, bring my meals, work on the business, talk to people online, do social media, which I love doing, talk about the things that we're up to, inspire, motivate. My purpose to help thousands and thousands and thousands of men and women transform their lives. I built a company around it, a brand around it. I still love making the clothing myself. I'm on the screen printer making the shirts. I love creating with my hands. But one thing I learned a long time ago, I don't want to do the same thing 18 hours a day because I don't like doing the same thing all day long. So I learned that about myself. And I said, you know what, in the morning, if I train people, that's great. In the afternoon, if I break, I change what I'm doing and I'm focusing on different aspects of the business. So I get to use different parts of my brain and my creativity and my energy. And then in the evening, I get to get my workouts in, and then I get to get home and I get to have a normal life, and I have most weekends off, right? I realized that that's really how I wanted to be. But I didn't realize that until I sat down and looked at it. But once I decided, once I wrote it down, I made it, clear on paper, it happened. It happened because I had a destination. It happened because I had purpose. It happened because I had a compass. Well, today, this is what I'm working on. I got to get this done. This is next. Here's 10 things I have to get done today to move me further. And I made things super important. Every day I have to work out 1 or 2 times a day. My food has to be on top every day. That's my job. To pull off the life I want, it is my job to do these daily non-negotiables. It is your job to do these daily non-negotiables. It is your responsibility to do these things for yourself, to create that life that you want. So now I'm at this point where things are moving forward, are growing. Are they where I want them to be, business-wise? Of course not. But man, we're a lot closer than we were 6 months ago. A year ago, it wasn't even a blip on the map, right? That's how powerful things are. That's how powerful it can happen. That's how quickly it can unfold. But that also only unfolded along the way when I lost 140 pounds and I got fitter and I got stronger and I got healthier physically and mentally. And as I did that, these doors opened. And as these opportunities present themselves, I knew which door or opportunity to take because I had a vision of where I was going, because I knew what my ultimate day was and where I wanted to be and what my 1-year plan and 3-year and 5-year plan were. So when those opportunities presented themselves, I was in a position of energy and power to be able to take them on, but I also knew which ones would benefit me in the direction I wanted to go. Because saying no is just as powerful as saying yes if it's not moving you to where you want to go. Say no to the cake, say yes to the salad. Say no to the second episode of whatever you're watching on Netflix and do your half-hour cardio. Or better yet, watch the second episode while you do your half-hour cardio. There's a purpose to what you're doing now. Things aren't just happening to you. You stop being a victim. You are directing how you're moving through this flow of the universe. You're not letting things bounce you around anymore, right? You can no longer blame anybody else because you are taking control. Shit's going to happen. Stuff's going to push you off sideways, push you off track, of course. But with purpose, with energy and focus and confidence and self-esteem, you bring it back online. That's how this works. That's how this program works. That's what we're going to talk about, success and succeeding next week, where it's bringing us towards us overall. I get excited, as you can tell, when I talk about the Ultimate Day, because it's such a powerful tool. And we introduced it at this point in the program because you are now in a position better than ever, physically, mentally, and emotionally, because you've changed things that need to be changed. You are eating better. You are exercising better. You are breathing better. You are thinking better. So you're ready. You're evolving to this next level. It's time to introduce this to you. It's time to put you through this because you're ready, and it's going to take you to the next level. Guys, that's all I have to say on that for today. This has been a great week. I'm excited for you guys. I love when I see people going through this, and I love when I have the conversations about how week 1 and week 2 is going and how the excitement and the struggles, it's all part of it. And it's exciting. It's exciting for Lewis and I because we've done this so often and we'll continue to do it, but we know how it changes lives. We know how it's changed our lives and continues to do so, right? We're not blowing smoke up your butt. This is exciting. This is happening. Things are going extremely well when things are done with purpose and hard work, right? That's where I want you to be. If it's not moving as well as you want, go back and review. Go back and do the things that you were supposed to do that you didn't do. Go do the work, right? High school, show your work, right? Pull up that journal. If that journal of yours has 2 lines in it, that's the reason why the scale isn't moving. That's the reason why you're not exercising. That journal is getting filled and you're getting better at it and you're showing up and you're doing your 4 non-negotiables every day, whether you like it or not, whether you're happy to do it or you're kicking and screaming, those 4 non-negotiables are dragging you towards success. So at this point, if things are going well, continue going in the direction you're going. Continue doing the things you're doing. Double down with them. If things aren't going well, review what's not going well. Review what you're not doing. Go back and start to do them again. Double down on those exercises because we can make a ton of difference every day and we can make a ton of difference in the week. So if you're not where you want to be, you're not happy with your progress in the first 1 or 2 weeks, make it up in the 3rd week. You can, absolutely. Seen it done 100 times, right? Stay focused, stay on target. Guys, work hard, get this done. I know you can do it. I'm excited for you. I'm proud of you. Keep moving forward. Struggle, persevere, succeed, and inspire. And I'll talk to you guys in week 3.